Most people think you need harsh chemicals to keep pests out of your garden, but nature's already done the work for you. Today, I'm going to show you 25 companion plants that naturally repel garden pests so you can grow healthier vegetables, save money, and protect your plants without toxic sprays. These are simple plants that work quietly in the background, confusing insects, masking scents, and even attracting helpful predators that do the pest control for you. If you're new here, welcome to Zero to Purpose, where we take simple, hands-on steps to live more creatively, sustainably, and intentionally. Whether you have a full garden or just a few containers, these companion plants will change how you think about pest management. Grab a tea, settle in, and let's begin. Plant number 1, marigolds. Marigolds are one of the most powerful pest-repelling plants you can grow. They protect tomatoes, peppers, and squash from aphids, whiteflies, and even root nematodes that live underground. Marigolds release a scent through their roots and leaves that pests find overwhelming. It confuses their navigation system, so they stay away from anything planted nearby. To start, plant marigolds around the edges of vegetable beds or between rows. They need full sun and well-draining soil. Space them 8 to 12 inches apart and water regularly until established. Once they're growing, deadhead spent blooms weekly to keep them flowering and producing that protective scent. You'll notice fewer aphids on your tomatoes and cleaner leaves overall. Plus, marigolds bloom all season, adding cheerful color while they work. Choose French marigolds for vegetables because they're smaller and more effective against soil pests than African varieties. Plant number 2. Basil. Basil is a natural shield for tomatoes and peppers. It repels thrips, flies, and mosquitoes, and many gardeners swear it improves tomato flavor when planted close by. The oils in basil leaves release a strong aroma that insects avoid. It's pleasant to us but overwhelming to most flying pests. Plant basil seedlings near tomato or pepper plants in full sun, spacing them 10 to 12 inches apart. Water at the base to keep leaves dry because basil needs consistent moisture but doesn't like wet foliage. Pinch off flowers as they form to keep the plant bushy and the oils concentrated. You'll see fewer flies hovering around your plants, and you'll have fresh basil for cooking all summer long. The combination of pest protection and culinary use makes basil one of the most practical companion plants. Plant sweet basil next to tomatoes and cinnamon basil near cucumbers because different varieties work better with different crops. Plant number 3, nasturtiums. Nasturtiums act as a trap crop, meaning they lure aphids and caterpillars away from your main vegetables like cabbage, cucumbers, and beans. Pests prefer nasturtiums over most other plants, so they'll settle on the nasturtiums instead, keeping your food crops clean. Sow nasturtium seeds directly around the perimeter of your garden in spring. They tolerate poor soil and actually produce better pest-attracting qualities when not over-fertilized. Water lightly and avoid rich soil. Check nasturtiums weekly and remove heavily infested leaves to control the pest population before it spreads. Your cabbage and squash stay pest-free, and the nasturtium flowers are edible with a peppery taste that's great for salads. Plant them at least 12 inches away from your main crops so pests don't easily jump over. The bright orange and yellow blooms also add beauty while doing the hard work of protecting your garden. Plant number 4, lavender. Lavender keeps moths, fleas, flies, and mosquitoes away from your garden and patio. It's especially useful near seating areas and doorways where you want a pest-free zone. The strong fragrance comes from oils in the leaves and flowers. Insects find it repellent, but bees and butterflies love it, making lavender both protective and pollinator-friendly. Plant lavender in full sun with well-draining or sandy soil because it doesn't tolerate wet feet. Space plants 18 to 24 inches apart, and water sparingly once established. Lavender is drought-tolerant and thrives on neglect. Prune lightly after blooming to keep plants compact and encourage new growth. You'll create a calming, fragrant border that keeps flying pests away while attracting pollinators to help your vegetables thrive. English lavender is hardier and better for cooler climates, while French lavender works well in hot, dry areas. Both types provide excellent pest protection year after year. Plant number 5, mint. Mint repels ants, aphids, flea beetles, and rodents. It's one of the most versatile pest deterrents for vegetable gardens. Mint produces menthol, which masks the scent of nearby plants and confuses pests trying to locate food. Plant mint in containers to prevent it from spreading aggressively through your garden beds. Place containers near problem areas where ants or aphids are common. Use partial sun to full sun and water regularly to keep soil moist. Mint prefers consistent moisture but adapts to various conditions. Trim back stems monthly to encourage bushy growth and keep the scent strong. You'll have fewer ants around your garden beds and fresh mint for tea or cooking whenever you need it. Peppermint is strongest for pest control, while spearmint is milder and better for culinary use. The container method gives you flexibility to move the mint wherever pest problems arise, making it a mobile defense system for your garden. Plant number 6. Rosemary. Rosemary deters cabbage moths, bean beetles, and carrot flies. It's ideal for planting near brassicas like broccoli, kale, and cabbage. The woody stems release a powerful pine-like scent that interferes with pest navigation and egg-laying. Plant rosemary in full sun with dry, well-draining soil. It's drought-tolerant once established and actually prefers drier conditions. Space plants 24 inches apart if planting multiples, and water sparingly. Overwatering is the most common mistake with rosemary. Prune tips regularly to keep plants bushy and oils concentrated. The more you harvest, the bushier it grows. Your cabbage family plants will have fewer holes from caterpillars, and you'll harvest fresh rosemary for roasting vegetables year-round. In cold climates, grow rosemary in a pot so you can bring it indoors before frost. It makes an excellent windowsill herb that continues protecting indoor plants while providing fresh sprigs for winter cooking. Plant number 7. Chrysanthemums. Chrysanthemums contain pyrethrin, a natural insecticide that repels roaches, ants, Japanese beetles, ticks, and spider mites. Pyrethrin attacks the nervous systems of insects on contact, and even the scent alone keeps many pests at bay. Plant mums in full sun around garden borders in spring or early summer. Space them 18 inches apart, water regularly, and mulch to retain moisture. Chrysanthemums appreciate consistent moisture during their growing season. Pinch back stems in early summer to encourage bushier plants and more blooms. You'll see fewer beetles and mites on nearby plants, plus vibrant fall color when most gardens are winding down. White and yellow mums have the highest pyrethrin content, so choose those varieties for maximum pest control. The flowers also make excellent cut arrangements, and having them near your vegetable garden provides ongoing protection throughout the growing season as they release their natural insecticide compounds continuously. Plant number 8. Petunias. Petunias repel aphids, tomato hornworms, asparagus beetles, and squash bugs. They're perfect near tomatoes, peppers, and beans. Petunias produce a sticky resin that traps small insects, and their scent confuses many larger pests. Plant petunias in full sun near vulnerable crops. They tolerate most soil types but prefer well-draining conditions. Space them 10 to 12 inches apart and water when the top inch of soil is dry. Deadhead spent flowers weekly to keep blooms coming and scent active. Regular deadheading also encourages more flowers, which means more pest protection. Your tomatoes and peppers will have fewer hornworms, and you'll enjoy cascading blooms all summer. Choose trailing varieties for containers and upright types for garden beds because both repel pests equally well. The variety of colors available means you can coordinate pest protection with your garden's aesthetic while getting serious insect control from these hardworking annuals. Plant number 9. Garlic. Garlic repels aphids, spider mites, carrot flies, and even rabbits. It's one of the most effective all-around pest deterrents. The sulfur compounds in garlic are released through the roots and leaves, creating an underground and above-ground barrier. Plant garlic cloves in fall or early spring, 2 inches deep and 6 inches apart. Place them near roses, tomatoes, or carrots. Water moderately because garlic doesn't like soggy soil. Keep weeds down and mulch lightly to conserve moisture. Harvest when tops turn brown in midsummer. You'll protect multiple crops with one planting, plus harvest your own organic garlic bulbs for the kitchen. Hardneck garlic is easier to grow in cold climates because it tolerates freezing, while softneck stores longer after harvest and works better in mild climates. The protective effects begin as soon as the garlic sprouts, so even young plants provide pest deterrents while they're growing to maturity. Plant number 10. Chives. Chives repel aphids, Japanese beetles, and carrot rust flies. They're especially protective when planted near carrots, tomatoes, and roses. Like garlic, Chives release sulfur compounds, but they're milder and won't overpower nearby plants. Plant chive seedlings or divide established clumps in spring. They grow in most soils and adapt to various conditions. Space them 8 inches apart in full sun to partial shade and water regularly. Trim leaves back to 2 inches after harvesting to encourage fresh growth. You'll keep aphids off roses and tomatoes while harvesting fresh chives for salads and soups all season. The purple flowers are edible too, so use them as a garnish or in salads for a mild onion flavor. Chives are perennial, meaning they come back year after year with minimal care. They multiply naturally, so you can divide clumps every few years to expand your pest protection zones throughout the garden. Plant number 11. Dill attracts beneficial insects like ladybugs and parasitic wasps that eat aphids, caterpillars, and spider mites. While dill doesn't repel pests directly, it brings in natural predators that do the work for you. Sow dill seeds directly in the garden in spring because it doesn't transplant well due to its taproot. Space plants 12 inches apart in full sun and water moderately. Allow some plants to flower because the blooms attract the most beneficial insects. The umbrella-shaped flowers provide landing platforms and nectar for tiny beneficial wasps and flies. Your garden becomes self-regulating, with helpful insects controlling pest populations naturally while you harvest fresh dill for pickling and cooking. Plant dill away from fennel because they cross-pollinate and weaken each other's flavor. Succession plant dill every few weeks for continuous harvest and ongoing beneficial insect attraction throughout the entire growing season. Plant number 12. Catnip. Catnip repels aphids, squash bugs, ants, and flea beetles. Studies show it's even more effective than commercial repellents at repelling mosquitoes. Catnip contains napetolactone, an oil that repels insects but attracts cats. The scent alone keeps most pests away. Plant catnip in full sun to partial shade. It tolerates poor soil and drought, making it one of the easiest companion plants to grow. Space plants 18 inches apart and water sparingly once established. Prune back after flowering to prevent aggressive self-seeding because catnip can spread quickly. You'll create a protective zone around squash and cucumbers, and if you have cats, they'll enjoy the fresh leaves. Plant catnip away from main beds if you have outdoor cats because they'll roll in it and flatten nearby plants. The pest-repelling properties are strong enough that even dried catnip leaves scattered around plants provide some protection. Plant number 13. Borage. Borage repels tomato hornworms and cabbage worms while attracting pollinators. It's a 2-in-1 protector for your garden. The hairy leaves and strong scent deter soft-bodied caterpillars, while the bright blue flowers bring in bees. Sow borage seeds in spring where you want them to grow because they have a deep taproot and don't transplant well. Space them 12 inches apart in full sun and water moderately. Allow plants to self-seed for next year's crop because they come back easily. Your tomatoes stay cleaner, pollination rates improve, and the flowers are edible with a cucumber-like taste. Freeze borage flowers in ice cubes for a beautiful addition to summer drinks. The flowers also make excellent garnishes for salads. Borage grows quickly and begins flowering within weeks, providing fast pest protection. The combination of pest deterrence and pollinator attraction makes it especially valuable in vegetable gardens where both functions are needed. If you're finding these ideas helpful, tap the like button so more gardeners can discover natural pest control. And tell me in the comments which companion plant you're most excited to try this season. Are you going with classic marigolds or something more unusual like borage or catnip? I love hearing what's working in your garden and what challenges you're facing. Your experiences help other viewers too, so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation growing. Plant number 14. Sage. Sage repels cabbage moths, carrot flies, and flea beetles. It's ideal near cabbage, carrots, and strawberries. The woody leaves release aromatic oils that mask the scent of host plants, making it hard for pests to find them. Plant sage in full sun with well-draining soil. It's drought-tolerant once established and thrives with minimal care. Space plants 24 inches apart and water sparingly. Overwatering causes root rot in sage. Prune back woody stems in spring to encourage tender new growth. Your cabbage family will have fewer holes and you'll harvest fresh sage for cooking all year in mild climates. Common sage is best for culinary use, while purple sage is more ornamental but still repels pests effectively. Sage is a perennial that gets woody and more fragrant with age. The older the plant, the stronger the pest-repelling oils become, making established sage plants even more effective protectors. Plant number 15, thyme. Thyme repels cabbage worms, whiteflies, and tomato hornworms. Its low-growing habit makes it perfect as a living mulch. Thyme releases thymol, an oil that disrupts insect behavior and keeps them from laying eggs nearby. Plant thyme in full sun with dry, well-draining soil. Space plants 12 inches apart and water lightly until established. Then reduce watering. Thyme is extremely drought-tolerant. Trim stems after flowering to keep plants compact and oils strong. You'll suppress weeds, protect cabbage and tomatoes, and have fresh thyme for seasoning year-round. Creeping thyme works best as ground cover and can be walked on occasionally, while upright thyme is easier for culinary harvesting. Both types provide excellent pest protection. Thyme's ability to function as living mulch means it serves triple duty: weed suppression, moisture retention, and pest control, making it one of the most efficient companion plants you can grow. Plant number 16, oregano. Oregano repels aphids, cabbage butterflies, and cucumber beetles. It's especially useful near squash, cucumbers, and peppers. The strong scent from oregano's essential oils confuses pests and makes nearby plants harder to detect. Plant oregano in full sun with well-draining soil. Space plants 12 inches apart and water moderately. Oregano tolerates drought once established and actually develops stronger flavor in drier conditions. Harvest regularly to encourage bushier growth and keep oils potent. Your cucumbers and peppers will have fewer beetle damage, and you'll have fresh oregano for pizza and pasta all summer. Greek oregano has the strongest flavor and scent, so it's best for both cooking and pest control. Oregano spreads naturally and forms dense mats that also suppress weeds. It's a perennial that comes back stronger each year, providing reliable pest protection season after season with virtually no maintenance required. Plant number 17, tansy. Tansy repels ants, flies, moths, beetles, and even mice. It's a powerful perimeter plant for vegetable gardens. Tansy contains compounds that are safe for humans, but overwhelming to insects and small pests. Plant tansy along garden edges in full sun. It spreads aggressively, so contain it or plant in areas where spreading won't be a problem. Space plants 24 inches apart and water sparingly. Cut back after flowering to prevent self-seeding everywhere. You'll create a protective barrier that keeps crawling and flying pests out of your main beds. Never plant tansy near livestock because it's toxic if eaten in large quantities. Keep it ornamental only and positioned away from areas where animals graze. The yellow button-like flowers are attractive and long-lasting. Despite its aggressive nature, tansy's powerful pest-repelling properties make it valuable when properly placed. Just give it space and maintain boundaries to prevent unwanted spreading. Plant number 18, calendula. Calendula repels aphids, tomato hornworms, and asparagus beetles. It also attracts hoverflies that eat aphids. Calendula's sticky sap traps small insects, while its bright flowers lure beneficial predators to your garden. Soak calendula seeds in spring in full sun to partial shade. They tolerate most soils and are forgiving for beginners. Space them 12 inches apart and water regularly for best blooms. Deadhead spent flowers to keep blooming and attracting beneficials all season. Your tomatoes and peppers stay cleaner and the petals are edible, making them great for teas and salads. Calendula self-seeds easily, so let a few plants go to seed in fall for free plants next spring. The flowers have a slightly spicy, peppery flavor. Calendula also has medicinal properties used in salves and skin treatments, making it a multi-purpose garden addition beyond pest control. Plant number 19, scented geraniums. Scented geraniums repel aphids, cabbage worms, and Japanese beetles. They're especially effective near roses and vegetables. When you brush against the leaves, they release a strong scent like lemon, rose, or mint that pests find repulsive. Plant scented geraniums in full sun in containers or borders. Space them 18 inches apart and water when soil is dry to the touch. They tolerate some drought but bloom better with regular moisture. Pinch back stems regularly to encourage bushy growth and stronger scent. You'll protect multiple crops while enjoying beautiful foliage and fragrance when you work in the garden. Citronella-scented geraniums are best for mosquitoes, while rose-scented work better on beetles. Different scents target different pests, so mixing varieties provides broader protection. These are tender perennials that can be brought indoors in cold climates, providing year-round pest protection for houseplants during winter months. Plant number 20, alliums. Alliums including onions, leeks, and shallots repel aphids, slugs, carrot flies, and cabbage worms. They're protective companions for almost any vegetable. Like garlic and chives, alliums release sulfur compounds that create a chemical barrier pests won't cross. Plant onion sets or leek seedlings in early spring. Space them 6 inches apart in full sun with well-draining soil. Water regularly and keep weeds down because alliums don't compete well with weeds. Harvest when tops fall over naturally. You'll protect your entire garden while growing your own onions, shallots, or leeks for cooking. Interplant alliums with carrots because they repel carrot rust fly, and carrots repel onion fly in return, creating mutual protection. This companion planting partnership is one of the most proven and effective combinations in organic gardening. The protection lasts throughout the growing season as the plants mature. Plant number 21. Fennel. Fennel repels aphids, slugs, and snails. It also attracts beneficial insects like ladybugs and lacewings. The feathery foliage and anise scent confuse pests, while the flowers provide nectar for helpful predators. Sow fennel seeds in spring in full sun. It grows tall, so place it at the back of beds. Space plants 12 inches apart and water moderately. Allow some plants to flower for beneficial insects and harvest others for culinary use. You'll balance your garden ecosystem naturally while harvesting fennel bulbs, fronds, and seeds for cooking. Plant fennel away from tomatoes, beans, and dill because it inhibits their growth through allelopathic compounds. Despite these incompatibilities, fennel is valuable when properly sited. The licorice-flavored leaves and bulbs are culinary delights, and the seeds are used in teas and spice blends. Bronze fennel varieties add ornamental value with copper-colored foliage while providing the same pest protection. Plant Mach 22. Cilantro. Cilantro repels aphids, spider mites, and potato beetles. When it flowers, it attracts parasitic wasps that control caterpillars. The leaves repel pests with their strong scent, while the flowers provide food for beneficial insects. Sow cilantro seeds in spring or fall in full sun to partial shade. Space them 6 inches apart and water regularly. Cilantro bolts quickly in heat, so succession plant every 2 weeks for continuous harvest. Harvest leaves regularly and allow some plants to flower for pest control. You'll protect potatoes and tomatoes while harvesting fresh cilantro for salsas and the seeds, called coriander, for spice. Plant cilantro in spring and fall because it grows best in cool weather and resists bolting in lower temperatures. The roots are also edible and used in Asian cuisine. Cilantro's dual function as both pest repellent and beneficial insect attractor makes it exceptionally valuable in integrated pest management strategies. Plant number 23, lemongrass. Lemongrass repels mosquitoes, flies, and aphids. It contains citronella, the same compound used in bug-repellent candles. The citronella oil in the leaves creates a natural barrier that flying insects avoid instinctively. Plant lemongrass in full sun in containers or garden beds. Space plants 24 inches apart because they grow into large clumps. Water regularly because lemongrass prefers moist soil and warm weather. Trim back outer leaves regularly to keep plants bushy and oils concentrated. You'll keep mosquitoes away from patios and garden areas while harvesting fresh lemongrass for tea and Asian cooking. In cold climates, grow lemongrass in pots and bring indoors before frost because it's a tropical plant. The lower white bulbous part is used in cooking while the tough green leaves make excellent tea. One lemongrass plant can grow quite large and provide abundant harvest while creating a significant mosquito-free zone. Plant number 24, bee balm. Bee balm repels aphids and attracts beneficial insects like bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds that improve pollination. The minty scent deters soft-bodied pests, while the tubular flowers provide nectar that draws in garden helpers. Plant bee balm in full sun to partial shade. It tolerates most soils but prefers consistent moisture. Space plants 18 inches apart and water regularly, especially in dry spells. Deadhead spent flowers and divide clumps every 3 years to prevent overcrowding. You'll boost pollination rates across your garden while enjoying vibrant red, pink, or purple blooms all summer. Choose mildew-resistant varieties like Jacob Klein to avoid leaf problems in humid climates. Bee balm spreads through underground runners, gradually filling in spaces. The flowers are edible and make colorful garnishes, and the leaves can be dried for a minty tea. Native to North America, bee balm is well adapted to various growing conditions. Plant number 25. Yarrow. Yarrow repels aphids, ants, and beetles while attracting ladybugs, parasitic wasps, and hoverflies that eat garden pests. Yarrow's aromatic leaves deter harmful insects, while its flat flower clusters provide landing pads and food for beneficial ones. Plant yarrow in full sun with well-draining soil. It's drought-tolerant once established. Space plants 18 inches apart and water sparingly. Cut back after blooming to encourage a second flush of flowers. You'll create a balanced ecosystem where good bugs control bad bugs naturally, reducing your need for any intervention. White and yellow yarrow attract the most beneficial insects, so choose those over ornamental pink varieties for maximum pest control benefits. Yarrow has deep roots that mine nutrients from deep soil layers, and when leaves decompose, they enrich the topsoil. This makes yarrow a dynamic accumulator that improves soil while providing pest management, truly earning its place in any garden. Bonus tip. Here's the thing most people overlook when it comes to companion planting for pest control. The most effective protection happens when you combine plants, not rely on just one. Create small clusters throughout your garden. Marigolds with basil near tomatoes, nasturtiums with chives near squash, lavender with rosemary near seeding areas and garden edges. Layering scents confuses pests even more and creates overlapping zones of protection that make it nearly impossible for insects to locate their target plants. This approach is low cost, simple to implement, and doubles your results without extra work. Think of it like creating a neighborhood watch for your garden. One companion plant is helpful, but 3 or 4 working together form an impenetrable barrier. Also, rotate your companion plants each season just like you rotate crops. This prevents pests from adapting and keeps your garden's defense system fresh and effective year after year. Start with 3 companion plants this season, observe what works in your specific conditions, then expand from there based on your results. So whether you have a full garden bed or just a few containers on a patio, you can use these companion plants to protect your vegetables naturally without chemicals, without guesswork, and without spending a fortune on commercial pest control products. These plants have been used by gardeners for generations because they work. Pick 2 or 3 from today's list and try them this season. Let them teach you something about how nature solves problems when we work with it instead of against it. Drop a comment and tell me which companion plants you're starting with. Are you going traditional with marigolds and basil or trying something new like yarrow or borage? I read every comment and love hearing about your gardening experiences. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and join us here at Zero to Purpose, where we grow life one simple project at a time. Every week, we explore practical ways to garden more sustainably, live more intentionally, and find purpose in the everyday work of growing things. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.